You think you have enough power to hurt the great Canelo?
Of course. I don't have to have enough power to hurt him. I just got to beat him.
And I had the experience to adapt myself to these kind of fighters. I fight everybody out there, every style, and I'm gonna do my job.
I've been a big fan of boxing since I was a kid. I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for boxing. For this to be the first boxing match that I'm involved in promoting is an absolute honor. Two of the greatest of all time and one of the biggest fights ever.
An explosive moment unfolded during a podcast with Dana White as Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez clashed in a heated exchange. The unexpected confrontation between the boxing titans quickly turned tense, capturing the full attention of fans and media alike. In the GOATS podcast, Dana White expresses his deep admiration for the sport of boxing and reflects on his excitement about being part of this historic matchup. As the promoter of the first true legacy fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, he shares how meaningful this moment is for combat sports. Dana talks about the respect he has for both fighters, praising their willingness to take risks and give fans something special.
For this to be the first boxing match that I'm involved in promoting is an absolute honor. Two of the greatest of all time and one of the biggest fights ever in the history of the sport. So very, very proud moment for me, and I've done a lot of things in my career.
How do you see the TKO Boxing League being and evolving over time, and what you hope, obviously you getting involved in boxing and this being your first fight, how do you see it evolving over time?
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of criticisms of the sport over the last 30 years. The way that I'm looking at this is I'm going to start building from the ground up, looking for young talent, up and coming guys, putting on fights sort of UFC style, from the first fight of the night to the main event, stacking the card, with the best talent possible.
During the podcast, Tom Brady brings the spotlight to Canelo Alvarez, who opens up about his thoughts on facing Terence Crawford. Canelo admits Crawford wasn't originally someone he expected to fight, mostly due to their difference in weight classes. Still, he embraces the unpredictability of boxing and shows confidence in his position. When the topic shifts to how the fight could play out, he expresses no doubt in his ability to win.
How long has this fight been in the making?
No, I never thinking about the fight Crawford. I never in my life, because he's a low weight than me. So, but I never thinking about it. But that's the fun part of boxing. You never know what is gonna happen, right? And now we are here. And I'm glad to share the ring with one of the best fighters out there, and I'm just can't wait.
So even though you see a small fighter, when you look in his eyes, do you see a fighter that could possibly beat you?
No, never.
So,
Never.
So he will never beat you?
He's obviously he's a special fighter. He's a good fighter, but that's why they are good weight classes, right? And we're gonna find out September.
Later in the discussion, Terence is asked to give his perspective on the outcome of the fight. He confidently states that he sees himself winning. He challenges the weight class narrative, reminding listeners that Canelo has already beaten larger opponents. Crawford believes that styles and strategy matter more than size. His tone is calm but assertive, sending a clear message that he's not stepping into this bout as an underdog, but as an equal.
Since I need you to answer, how would you like this fight to end?
Well, I won't say like to. It will end with my hand rose, making history.
I like that answer, but talk some shit, bud.
Listen. I might be the smaller fighter, but Canelo can testify to this. He went up against bigger fighters and been victorious. So all that smaller fighter and I'm the bigger fighter, that goes out the window when you got skills.
Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn opens the podcast with his analysis of the matchup. He acknowledges that Canelo Alvarez carries a strong advantage, especially due to his track record at higher weights and his physical strength. However, he points out that Terence Crawford's boxing IQ and unpredictability could cause serious problems for Canelo. Hearn notes that while Canelo may be favored, Crawford won't make it easy. He stresses that Crawford's ability to adapt and outthink opponents could shift the momentum.
Are you still favoring Crawford in the fight, or has your opinion changed?
I mean, I've always favoured Canelo in the fight.
Well, I've heard that you want Canelo to win, but you
of
feel
course, big. Yeah, I like Terence. But I've worked a lot with Canelo, and I think just because of what I saw in Riyadh and because of the threat, and he's getting on as well, Crawford. But it's just like the mindset of Crawford. Like, there's no doubt in Terence Crawford's mind that he wins this fight. And when you spend a bit of time with him, you kind of start buying into that. And I guess that's what happened in Riyadh, because I travelled with him to the fight, and but it's a 50-50 fight. I think gun to head, I'm probably picking Crawford right now, but I want Canelo to win, and he can win for sure. But Terence is going to make it really tricky and awkward for him, and I don't think he's going to like that kind of fight.
Moreover, Abel Sanchez shares his view that Canelo might face early trouble in the opening rounds. He believes Crawford's speed and sharp timing could put Canelo on the back foot initially. However, he adds that Canelo has the defensive skill and patience to weather the storm. Sanchez emphasizes Canelo's ability to adjust mid-fight, often turning things around with calculated pressure and power. His comments bring a tactical lens to the fight, suggesting that early dominance may not guarantee victory if Canelo finds his rhythm and timing as the rounds go on.
I think Canelo will lose 3 or 4 rounds at the beginning, but then once he starts pounding on him, as it's been for the last 6-7 fights of Canelo, after the 6th or 7th round, it's a sparring session for him. He just throwing bombs away and not caring about what they do to him. But he's got excellent defense. Unfortunately, his feet don't move as well as I would like for him to move them, but his upper body is just unbelievable. He slips punches very well. He's got great hands. He parries very well, and he lands big shots. He may not land as many, but he lands big shots that hurt. So I think Canelo stops him, or White decision at the end, and corner must think about Crawford's safety and health.
While Canelo vs. Crawford is a heated debate, Antonio Gates steps in with a brief but firm opinion on the upcoming bout. He points out that the power Canelo brings to the ring will be a serious factor, especially given the weight class advantage. Despite acknowledging the threat, he sides with Crawford. Gates expresses admiration for Crawford's discipline, intelligence, and ability to stay composed under pressure.
Terence Crawford, Canelo.
Yeah, I believe Terence Crawford is going to be in top shape, and I believe he's good enough to outpoint Canelo, but I believe the power would be a challenge, if you will. So I'm going to say Terence Crawford.
Terence Crawford?
Because I think Terence Crawford is the best boxer in the world.
While most people think that the weight difference is significant, Sugar Ray Leonard enters the conversation by focusing on the essence of boxing. He downplays the importance of weight classes, pointing out that strategy and execution matter more than size alone. Leonard sees Terence Crawford as someone capable of using his technique, speed, and fight IQ to outmaneuver even naturally bigger opponents. He frames the match as one where mental sharpness and game planning could outweigh physical advantages.
What about Crawford do you think can bridge the weight gap, or like with you, what did bridge the weight gap? Because a lot of people are just saying, hey, Canelo's just too big for someone like Terence.
That's true, but you know what? There's always a way. Put it that, there's always a way. There's always a way to win.
Contrary to most experts, Vidal Riley offers a neutral and balanced perspective. He believes both Canelo and Crawford possess elite skill sets that make this an evenly matched contest, regardless of weight. Riley points out that boxing is a sport full of surprises, where outcomes rarely follow expectations. He highlights how both fighters have proven themselves against top-tier opponents in different ways. By refusing to choose a clear favorite, Riley shifts the focus back to preparation and execution. His neutral stance supports the idea that fans are in for an unpredictable battle that will come down to small margins.
What sort of fight are you expecting? I'm expecting a quiet 3-4 rounds. As the fight moves into the middle, I'd expect Crawford to find his rhythm. It all depends on what stance Crawford thinks is the one to use against Canelo as well, because we've seen him come out orthodox, have a bit of difficulties, and then just switch southpaw and then start winning the fight. So I wonder how Canelo's going to deal with that change of stance. Someone who is equally as good on both sides. It's not like he can switch a bit. He can say, you know what, orthodox, I'm losing, I'm just going to go southpaw for the rest of the fight. Canelo hasn't had to deal with a conundrum like that in a while. It's a very interesting fight. Will someone get dropped? Yes, someone's getting dropped. At this level, bro, I don't write off anyone's abilities. We know Canelo can drop Crawford, but we can't be so sure that way and unsure the other way. Crawford had a year to build up to this weight. So, yeah, man, it's exciting.
Who wins the fight?
Crawford points. Crawford points.
Amid the serious analysis, Oscar De La Hoya shares a more more critical take on the matchup. He finds the whole situation unusual, especially due to the size difference between the fighters. De La Hoya expresses concern that Crawford may be pushing boundaries by jumping up in weight. While he acknowledges Crawford's ambition, he suggests that physical mismatches can't be overlooked. His comments bring a dose of realism into the debate, reminding everyone that greatness sometimes comes with risk, but risk doesn't always translate to reward.
Now, what the media is reporting, and it's circulating, is that Canelo Crawford is the biggest fight of the decade. I mean, to a purist and a fighter, it's laughable. Because you have Crawford jumping up 2 weight classes to fight Canelo, who's a natural light heavyweight. Crawford, who couldn't push back Madrimov. Life and death with Madrimov. What do you think Canelo's gonna do to him? Run him out of the ring.
Moving on, in an interview with Piers Morgan, Terence Crawford responds directly to concerns about the size gap. He maintains a composed and confident tone, emphasizing that fear has no place in his mindset. He explains that stepping into the ring means accepting challenges, regardless of physical disadvantages. His response reflects the mentality of a true competitor, focused on execution, not doubt.
Do you ever feel fear in the ring?
No.
Never?
No.
You weren't when you step in with him?
No.
You've never fought a guy that big. He's significantly bigger than anyone you fought before, and he's one of the all-time greats, and he's younger than you. You're not going to feel apprehensive when you get in that ring against him?
Fear? No.
I will for you, and I'm not even you.
That's cool. As a fighter, you know, we get nervous, but we never get, well, I can't speak for everybody else. I never get scared because I've been doing it for so long. I've been in the ring with guys bigger than Canelo.
Piers then shifts the focus to Canelo Alvarez, who shares his thoughts on the magnitude of the fight. Canelo expresses gratitude for the opportunity and pride in being part of such a significant event. While respectful toward Crawford, he speaks with quiet assurance about his chances. He reflects on his preparation, his journey through multiple weight classes, and his belief in his ability to win. His calm demeanor and appreciation for the moment offer a sharp contrast to the intensity of pre-fight chatter, reinforcing his image as a seasoned, confident veteran.
Good enough for you on Netflix just to beat Terence, or do you have to put on a show?
You know, I'm a winner. I always thinking about the win, and I'm coming to win. And you know, Netflix or not, I always coming to win. My mindset is different, and I'm very thankful with Netflix, with Turki Al-Ashi, with all the guys involved in this fight, because for me, it's all about make history, and I'm glad to be here.
Adding more energy to the already charged atmosphere, Dana White makes a bold announcement. The winner of Canelo versus Crawford will receive a 6-figure bonus. The declaration instantly raises the stakes, turning the bout into more than just a battle for legacy. It's now also a test of who can deliver under the brightest lights for the biggest reward. Dana's move brings the business side of the sport to the forefront, adding extra motivation and giving fans another reason to tune in for what promises to be a blockbuster night.
Performance bonus that night is going to be over 6 figures. We're still talking about it. So, yeah, it's going to be a big number. Whoever wins the performance bonus of the night that night.
Wade Plemons quickly reacts to Dana White's bonus news, and his excitement is clear. He says the added prize money raises the competitive energy and will make the fight even more intense. For him, it's no longer just about titles and reputation. Now there's an immediate financial reward at stake.
Dana's saying performance bonus, which I like better because you never know if a fight's going to be a knockout, or if two fighters are just going to go in there and give it all, and it could be one of those fight of the night type things where both guys get a performance bonus. I don't really know. But if fighters are you know, potentially going to be on this undercard, and for Canelo and Terence Crawford, a 6-figure performance bonus is nothing to shake their head at. Now again, Crawford and Canelo are making more money than they've ever made in their careers, so that whatever. But if you're on this card, you have an opportunity to steal the show and make 6 figures for yourself. I love that.
On the GOATS podcast, Terence Crawford is asked if there's any bad blood between him and Canelo. He responds calmly, making it clear there's no personal tension. He shares genuine respect, even admiration for Canelo's career. For Crawford, this fight is strictly business. It's about legacy, competition, discipline and testing himself at the highest level, not personal rivalry. His professionalism reinforces the serious, focused mindset he's bringing into this historic bout.
Keeping that animosity in November, or do you chill out like a week, or does it start when you enter into training camp?
It's no animosity towards Canelo at all. You know, I'm a fan of Canelo. I've been watching him for a long time, you know, and for me, it's just business. But it's the competitive nature in me to like get like right now, like, you know, I'm just ready. I'm ready to go train and just prove the world wrong. You know, like I've been doing my whole career. You know, all the doubters and the naysayers and the people that think I can't accomplish what I set my sights on to do.
Furthermore, Canelo talks about his training schedule and current preparation. He mentions that he has a fight scheduled in May, which remains his immediate focus. After that, he plans to take a short break before starting full training camp for the Crawford bout. His response reflects a well-structured approach, highlighting his discipline and understanding of timing. Canelo is clearly managing his year carefully to peak at the right moment for Crawford.
You're training right now?
All the 6 months. I have a fight in May, and then after that, I'm gonna maybe rest like a week and then start training again for September. Focus on what I'm doing right now. Obviously, I'm focused 100% on May because I need to take care about the fight first, and then to this happen, right? And then I need to take care about that fight and training. Focus on my path.
When asked why he chose to face Crawford instead of David Benavidez, Canelo gives a direct answer. He explains that Terence Crawford is an undisputed champion and brings a different kind of excitement and challenge to the table. Facing someone with that level of accomplishment is what motivates him. It's not just about names, it's about legacy. For Canelo, Crawford represents the kind of high-level matchup that pushes greatness even further.
But I know come fight time, he gonna be in a fight that, you know, he wasn't going to be expected.
For both of you guys, where does this fight rank in your careers?
It's going to be one of the best fights in my career, for sure. Like I say, he's a good fighter. He's going to be one of the biggest fights in my career, for sure.
This is the biggest fight of my career. We all know that. It's no secret. You know, I'm fighting a Hall of Famer, one of the best Mexican fighters that come out of Mexico.
Before Canelo's interview aired, David Benavidez had already voiced strong opinions. He questioned Canelo's confidence, claiming that if Canelo truly believed in himself, he would have taken the fight against him instead. Benavidez also made serious accusations about steroid use, targeting not only Canelo, but his entire camp. These remarks stirred controversy early on, setting a confrontational tone and keeping Benavidez's name in the mix as fans speculated about future matchups.
If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me, especially since, you know, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off
You think
steroids.
he's on steroids?
Of course.
Sure.
How does five?
You saw De La Hoya call him out.
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? All those in that camp are dirty.
As the GOATS podcast wraps up, Dana White takes a moment to call this the most important fight of both fighters' careers. He highlights the historical significance and the massive expectations riding on this bout. Tom Brady chimes in with his own enthusiasm, saying he's ready to watch greatness unfold in the ring. The energy is high as the episode ends, leaving fans hyped and counting down to fight night.
And one of the biggest fights of both of these guys' careers, and they've done everything. They've done it all, fought everybody, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Tom, any last words?
Yeah, look, I've been a fan of boxing a long time, and I'm a big fan of Dana, a big fan of Shaq, and obviously Canelo and Bud and what they've done in their career. And I think from someone who's been involved in big events, there's nothing better than having the best meet the best. And then when you see these two guys, how they performed over the course of their entire career, and it's always about what the next challenge is. You know, they don't look back and think, this is what I've accomplished in the past. They're thinking, what's ahead? And like that to me is what's most exciting about this event. It's going to be in Raiders Stadium, the greatest stadium in the United States.
With opinions divided and tension rising, the stage is set for one of boxing's biggest showdowns. What do you think? Will Canelo's power prevail, or will Crawford's skill make history? Drop your predictions and let the debate begin.